Hello everyone, welcome to my demo of the deliverables for Module 6. To begin with, let us look at the contact endpoint where we will be making a post request to essentially leave a message with the company from the user being on the website on the contact us page. They'll fill out the form with all of this data, all this info, and then it will be sent over to our database and posted, hopefully successfully. So click on that. You can see it says thank you for contacting us, and we can also check this directly in our database, which I'll just open up in the background for now. Oh, that's loading. Let's just open up Module 6. Oh, Webs collections. Head down to test, leads. You can see all the way at the bottom here, user test. That message that we just submitted has been posted successfully to the database and is remaining there as well indefinitely. So moving on to the account route, what we want to do is just opening up Postman. Let's check. For example, so this is taking the industrial building type as the path parameter, and it's actually using a decimal, so this is a good opportunity to show that some of our validation, that the number of elevators needs to be an integer. It's not an integer, so it's not allowing us to query the database for a quote that would be based upon a non-integer value of elevators for any type, but in this case for the industrial type. So if we make that an integer, you can see the server is indeed sending back it was calculating and then sending back the information regarding the number of elevators required and the cost. And then equally, let's say we increase that to 3 elevators, we can see the price has indeed multiplied by 3, and it's still working, which is great. So let's look at commercial building type, commercial, and let's change the tier, and let's specify, I believe it's max bulk is equal to 30, and the floors is equal to 15. Here we can see the elevator required is 8 and the cost is 640,000. Now if I change this to 20 and increase or decrease the max up to 15, the price has gone up. I can't remember if it's gone up or gone down, but I believe it's gone down. And the number of elevators required is now 6. And likewise, if we try a query with specifying the residential building type as our parameter. Let's make this apartments and floors. That's correct, I believe. You see the number of elevators required is 1 and the cost is 80,000. So our calculate quote functionality is working as expected. The calculate quote controller is actually it's waiting on the validator middleware, specific part of my validator middleware to be run on the endpoint that's being called before the controller is then able to be called. So you can see in our routes, which is here in public routes, I've imported the validate quote calculation as well as validate contact us and have queued these up in the essentially the requests full. So when the contact endpoint is called prior to the public controller functionality being invoked, the validate contact us function or logic is being invoked, and it will only validate contact us will only allow the request to pass to this point if it's validated. So if the parameters that have been passed by the user are valid by the terms defined in the validate function. And we can see this functionality uh, middleware. Here's a validating middleware. So, for example, let's just do one quick example with the contact. Okay, so we've got some JSON in our body here. Thank you for contacting us. That works. Now, if I change this number so it doesn't have the same format, it doesn't have a US number format. That actually does, unfortunately. But let's say we remove that number. That no longer has a US format. Could even try a UK phone number, which is where I'm from, 44787523228. This will not work either. And likewise, I could put a space there so that the email address is no longer recognized as an email address by our validator library that we've imported. And so there you can see the validator middleware working. And then finally, let's check out our residential page where we have our table, our agents table, which you can see here, which is indeed sortable by last name in ascending and descending order. The way that you define ascending alphabetically and descending alphabetically is, I think, a matter of opinion, but this is the way that I've defined it. And then numerically, according to the rating, and there's also color coding for different brackets, essentially. So if something's 100, it's color coded as green. If the rating is 90 or above, then it will be displayed in this blue, and anything below 90 will be displayed in this purple, and the fee is also sortable as well. And now filtering by region, we have our north agents, south, east, west, and all back to all regions. And there you go. That is module 6. Let me actually show very briefly the testing as well. So these are the tests that I've constructed. Essentially, this was provided, and I just used this structure to create um, these two tests as well. The main difference between them is the response utility that's used. So for the error test, the response utility that's used is respond error rather than respond OK. Um, and if we go into our terminal, which I'll bring over here, uh, run this test, you can see all the tests are passed. Thanks for watching.